Gluten Tag, guys! In today's video we'll talk about probably the most famous strength exercise there is, the push-up. My name is Alex and I'm the boy. Even if you ask your grandmother which exercises she knows, the push-up will probably make the list. And it's no surprise. It's a great exercise, you don't need any equipment, and furthermore, the entry barrier is much lower than, for example, with the pull-up. But which muscles are trained with the push-up? There are so many different push-up variations that train certain muscles more and others less. But the classic push-up, as you probably know it, mainly trains your chest, your triceps, and also your front deltoid, and also your abs. Now let's get to the technique. Go to the ground, belly facing downwards, feet relatively close together, hands about 1 to 1.5 times shoulder width apart and placed below your shoulders, and arms straight. Now push your scapula forward and flex your abs and also your butt. Now start the movement by lowering yourself under control. Under control does not mean very slow though. Try not to lose the tension in your abs in order to avoid an arched back. And also make sure not to let your elbows flare out too much. Keep them between 0 and 60 degrees with your body, because if the elbows flare out too much, this can lead to shoulder problems. Go as far down as your mobility allows. It would be perfect if your chest would touch the ground or if your arms would be parallel to the floor. But if that's not possible, that's okay. Just try not to cut the range of motion short in order to get more reps in. If you've reached the lowest portion of your push-up, you can either start the upwards motion right away or make a short pause. The pause will make it more difficult, but also you'll get a better feel for the lower position. Now we start the concentric part of the movement, so the upwards motion, by pushing into the ground with our hands. Just like in the eccentric part of the movement, it's also important here to keep your abs engaged and not to let your elbows flare out too much. And if you have reached the starting position, you have officially completed 1 repetition. That was it for the technique. Now I want to say a few words about common mistakes. Like already mentioned in the beginning, the barrier of entry for the push-up is far less than for other exercises. And this leads to people often neglecting the correct exercise technique. People do a lot of push-ups with bad technique, and the 3 most common errors are probably having an arched back, flaring out your elbows, and doing half reps. Half reps is the least concerning because you just limit the amount of progress you can make and the amount of muscle you will build. A little bit of a bigger problem is having an arched back because it puts unnecessary stress on the spine. And the biggest problem, in my opinion, is having really flared out elbows, because this really can lead to serious shoulder issues. I know many people who have done push-ups wrong for years and years, and now they have fucked up shoulders. Of course, there are also people that can do these kinds of push-ups without any problem because they have such good mobility, but I would rather not risk it. If normal push-ups are too hard or too easy for you, or you just want to mix things up, there are a lot of great variations out there. If normal push-ups are too hard for you, my best 2 picks for easier variations would be push-ups on your knees and push-ups with the hands elevated. In terms of harder variations, there are so many good ones out there. I just want to give you my 4 favorites. First up, we got the archer push-up, where you lean more towards one side. And the progression of the archer push-up would then be the 1-arm push-up, where you really push all your weight with just 1 arm. With the easier variations, we had push-ups with the hands elevated, and the harder variation is now push-ups with the legs elevated. This will also shift the focus more towards your upper chest and towards your shoulder. And last but not least, we got push-ups on, for example, parallels. This allows you to have a greater range of motion and also to stretch the muscle more. Of course, there are many other good variations out there, but for this video, that's enough, I think. I hope you have enjoyed it and learned something new. If you have, please leave me a like and subscribe, and also write some comments. You're also very welcome to leave me some criticism down in the comments. This was Fahad. Thanks for watching. Egal! Which strength exercises? Because of the elbow. Fast! I like it! You can either start the upwards motion right away or pause. Just like in the eccentric portion, it's also to keep your elbows fairly close to the body. Fairly close to the body. If you've researched, that was all the that was it for the that was it for the technique. That was it for the technique. Okay. A lot of push-ups with bad technique, and this can really hurt your shoulders and other stuff.